Hi, everybody.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pounds and Inches. This is our weight loss, health-based review series where we're going to bring you guys a review every time I lose a pound.
Or I lose an inch.
And today, it's both. Bethy officially lost her first inch.
Yay.
I'm down another pound. And as you know, if you've been following our series, we number our episodes based off our current pounds and inches. So this is episode 413.
And 157.
So what does inches mean to you? And it's a little bit harder of a concept than pounds. You know, everyone understands, a scale in pounds. But what does inches mean to you, and what is this metric that you're measuring?
Yeah, so I'm taking a few measurements of a few different places over my body. Those places are arms, bust, waist, hips, and thighs. And then I'm just adding that all together for one big number, and I'm going from there. So I officially am down an inch, which I'm pretty excited about. I have been trying to focus more on strength training and just lifting in general, because I know that that's what I need to focus on in order to see these results.
All right, well, very cool. So every time we do something like this, where both of us lose either a pound or an inch, we want to do a special episode, either a favorite game of ours or a game that maybe has an expansion, and therefore kind of a double episode in that regard.
Yeah.
In this case, it's both. This is both a really favorite game of ours, as well as this game that we've got some expansions added to as well that we've spruced up a little bit. All right, so this is a game that I picked up early on. It was one of our first Stefan Feld games that we bought, and he's turned into one of our favorite designers as a result.
Yeah. I aspire us to be a Feld completionist. We're not quite there yet, but we'll get there.
There's some out-of-print games and some hard-to-find ones, and they're not all cheap either. But this is one that we really enjoy. So what do you get in the box when you buy this?
Yeah, so you get individual player mats, and they're actually double-sided, which is neat, so you have more options. They're laid out differently. This is one of the things that we have a few expansions on. We have a few extra player mats. You get the board that players are choosing their pieces from, so it's a shared board. There's the dice, and then there's all the different little tiles that go all over the board. And I think that's about it.
Yeah, so this game, it's set in that, that post-medieval time, more or less, when everyone's recovering from the Dark Ages, and you're rebuilding the towns, and you're making these little castles and towns, and that's why it's called the Castles of Burgundy. There's all different tiles. You're going to be drafting these tiles using the dice. So everybody all simultaneously is going to roll their dice, and then starting with the first player marker, they're going to go around, and they're going to, draft tiles off of this player board, bring them onto their own individual player board, and then from there, once you own them, then you're going to be using the dice again to distribute them onto your player board. This is going to happen over the course of 5 rounds, and each round has 5 turns in it. So it's basically 25 turns you're going to be doing, and you kind of reset the board after each round. You want to fill up as many spots as possible, and there's many different kinds of tiles as well. So, like, for instance, the blue ones are boat actions, the brown ones are buildings, the yellow ones represent knowledge tiles. They're basically some kind of, they let you break the rules a little bit, give you some extra bonuses. There's castles that give you extra actions, and mines which give you some money.
Yeah, so throughout the game, you're getting points, and at the end of the game, after those 25 turns, then you add up the rest of the points, and then whoever has the most wins.
Yeah. So one thing that I really like about this game is that the dice are not traditionally in, like, a 6 is better than, a 5. Any dice result is viable. It's all just based off of what tiles are out here on the board, and then, the best spot is where the best tiles are, not necessarily where the best die result is. And on top of that, there's ways that you can change the dice.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like in this game, you're never out of luck. If somebody chose the spot that you want, there's still a lot of other viable options. If the dice that you needed, you didn't roll it, like Ryan said, there's ways that you can mitigate that to try and get the number that you wanted in order to play it. But I just feel like there's a lot of options, and like I said earlier, even if a player does take what you want to do, there's just so many things that you could do instead of using to buy that one spot. So I really like the options that this game has.
Yeah, this has a little bit of iconography behind it. They're all displayed for you on the player board over here off to the side. It's a little confusing at first, but after you've played a game or two, it's going to make more sense to you. There's arrows pointing in different places and where you can acquire different tiles to and where you can place them. But it'll make sense after a play.
Yeah, it makes so much sense to Ryan that now if I don't know what something means, I just show him the tile and he can tell me what it does. He doesn't even have to look in the rule book.
One thing we really like is there's always choices. There's choices to be had without adding complexity. Sometimes there's really heavy sets of rules and you have to just research everything and you have to, is that legal? Well, it's just very clear what's legal because the dice tell you and the player board tells you. So I really love that there's a lot of crunchiness, there's a lot of things to do to maximize your score without having to be bogged down by a lot of rules.
Yeah. So with so many good things about this game, what could we possibly dislike?
Well, one thing that we would love to see is a deluxe version of this game.
Please give me a deluxe version of this game.
We
I will buy it.
We will buy it right now. We'll order it immediately. We'll pre-order it.
Please.
Take our money.
Yes,
Take our money.
This is just so bland. It's like we don't even care that much about that stuff, and we still think it's bland.
They went with the ever popular tan on tan color structure, which does not bode well. The buildings are tan. The board is tan. They use 3 separate shades of green for their tiles. It just seems very drab. So that's something we would just love to see, pieces that are a little bit thicker, a little bit more meat behind them, slightly bigger tiles, bigger player boards, thicker player boards. These are very kind of flimsy. And I'm sure that helped keep the cost down a little bit, but in this case, we love this game and we want to keep on playing it forever. We want other people to just not judge a book by its cover in this case. We want more color, we want more options, we want more thickness, we want better quality.
Yeah. The only other thing we really disliked was the setup time of this. So all of these different colors represent a different type of tile. And so like Ryan explained earlier in the game, after each round you clear the board and then you add new. So then you clear the board and then you add new. And then you clear the board and then you add new. But we came up with kind of a solution to make that easier and to streamline that for us.
Yeah, you get a ton of different tiles, each representing all these different shapes and all these different types of tiles, I should say. And rather than just stacking off to the side or having to draw in more, we just we bought all these little dice bags, each one representing a different color of tile. So for instance, the black one's all in the middle of the ones that you can purchase with money. And instead of having to set up ahead of time, we literally just blindly draw out of the bag, put out however many we need, and it gets us exactly what we want without having to add time to our setup.
Yeah.
This is a quick game and we want to enjoy it. We don't want to spend time setting it up.
Yeah, that really helps streamline it for us. And it's also nice as we're going through the game, we can just put things right back too.
Yeah, it's just a lot faster that way for us.
Yeah.
And we really enjoy it.
So this game goes for a little above $40.
Yeah, and for the amount of tiles that you get, the player boards, which give you more options, the replayability you're going to get. There's tons of replayability here between the maps and the tiles. That's a good deal.
It is. It's a good deal.
Again, we would be willing to pay more. Give us that deluxe. No, but again, there is expansions, tons of little mini expansions that you can add over. We've got a few. This one is off of the monastery expansion, which adds these little monasteries. You can connect them. If you manage to connect those, you get some extra points as well. There's extra tiles that you can buy that adds you even more replayability. So this is a game that we both highly recommend. If you've wanted to try out a Stefan Feld game and didn't know a good first place to look, we definitely recommend the Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah, we do. A lot.
It's a lot of fun. It takes a short amount of time. It could be a little prettier. Maybe if enough people watch this review, it will be. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Pounds and Inches. We look forward to seeing you guys after either I lose a pound
or I lose an inch. And like always, feel free to leave comments. It's very encouraging for us. We like that you guys do that. We like trying to talk with you guys with what you say, the games you're playing, or what you're learning on your own fitness and health journey.
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow us here on YouTube or on our blog at boardgamegeek.com, both titled Pounds and Inches. So stay tuned. You guys have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.